I got the stem cells, but things are still going downhill. They don't work that quickly anyway. Now we have another kind of path vignette showing things, again, getting darker as they go. A little more foreboding. And again, the dark night, and then things just kind of going to black, which is relevant, as we'll see. So the final vignette is the tree vignette, which is sort of representative of me. I start off as this kind of, healthy, bright tree, and then as we go, we see this kind of like losing the leaves to now we're not sure what it's, how it's doing, to now it's chopped down. And this was just kind of that the injury was, so to speak, burning me to the ground until, as this point in the video suggests, until there's almost nothing left. At this point, I could hardly hold a conversation. It was a war just to read the kids a bedtime story, sit with my wife on the couch, and exercise. This shows that visitors can't happen anymore just because of the cognitive load of having other people around outside of immediate family. Even though I had lots of trouble interacting with them, following sentences and that type of thing. And that's sort of showing the, outer space, things going black. Here we see the sort of portal to the outside world being walled off with a brick wall. And here I chose the kind of fire in the hearth as a symbol of family, and that's going out, as my ability to communicate is going out. We have the blue room, which is empty and doesn't look like it's been inhabited much. It's just sort of the effect of not being able to interact with people or have people over. Another kind of symbol, a comet all alone rolling through the blackness of space. And really, at this point, I was being closed off. I was still having thoughts when I was able to think, but a lot of times I just couldn't convey them, either over text or otherwise. And that's sort of, we see the ringing phone left on the floor, as I was having a harder and harder time texting, which was easier than conversations. And here people are starting to just kind of float past, almost like ghosts. So I couldn't understand what they were saying. I wasn't actually even sure if they said something or if I just thought that they had said something or imagined that they said something. And this is another kind of a symbol of the sadness of being essentially cut off from physical interaction with so many people. And this has gone on for a year and a half and hasn't resolved actually yet at the time of the making of this video. Here we see the one of the chairs disappearing from the dinner table. And the kind of more literal time is running out symbol of the sand in the hourglass. This is going back to the room. This is the same room where I spent all the time. You can kind of make out that the windows were blocked by plastic, as well as the blinds, with this nice image of a very alone small boat on a kind of endless or unknown body of water. All things that really capture the feeling of how things were at this point. Pushing away the dinner plate, it was becoming more common for me to not be able to even be at dinner. I either wasn't well enough to eat, or I would need to have something brought to me, and I would kind of sit up in bed whenever I felt well enough, and then lay back down. Just lots of images of kind of mourning the sort of loneliness, and really the thought that things weren't going to improve. In all of this, this was the most kind of devastating time, as I realized that I just could see clearly the trend that things had been getting worse since the beginning, which was a year and a half at this point. And I was kind of faced with, when do I say goodbyes? Because the act of saying goodbye in person would most likely make it so that I couldn't communicate anymore. But if I waited too long, I wouldn't be able to, and wouldn't be able to say goodbye. So that was sort of the toil of this time, and this was the mourning of that. And as we see again, time is running out. It doesn't completely run out in this spot, but it's getting very close. Next is Dream World and the Awakening.